What's going on, guys? Before we get into today's edition of the Bulls Report, we have a programming alert. The Chicago Bulls make their Summer League debut tonight, and we're going to have an instant reaction video coming out for you guys right as the game ends. I'm going to be taking notes and kind of doing a lot of player analysis and player breakdown from the guys on this Bulls Summer League roster. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And if you're excited for the Bulls Summer League and you're going to watch our instant reaction video, just type Bulls Summer League in the comments below. What's going on, Bulls fans? Yes, you read that headline correctly. We're going to be discussing the possibility of the Bulls trading for Damian Lillard. We know Dame has requested out of Portland, and it pretty much looks like he is going to be a Miami Heat player, but in this next coming season. But Zach Lowe actually dropped an article saying that the Bulls could be a dark horse for Damian Lillard. So first off, don't yell at me about this Damian Lillard trade idea. Go yell at Zach Lowe. He is the reason we are talking about this. But I'm excited to talk about it because Bulls fans have kind of had mixed emotions about this. You know, I posted on a community tab yesterday, would you want Damian Lillard on the Chicago Bulls? And a lot of people had mixed emotions. A lot of people were like, hell yeah, bring Dame to Chicago. He's a great point guard. He could help us out a lot. And then some people were like, hell no. He's a 33-year-old point guard, a little undersized, and he's got a massive contract. But this was actually the trade idea that Zach Lowe floated out there. And just initial reaction to this, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But obviously the Bulls would be receiving Damian Lillard, the star point guard out of Portland, but we would be giving up an absolute haul. Probably our two most valuable assets in Zach LaVine and Patrick Williams. And then on top of that, they would have to give up 3 first-round picks. And due to the siphon rules in the NBA where you can't trade first-round picks back-to-back years, I'm really curious to see what 3 first-round picks they are really considering here. Obviously, we do have the Trailblazers actually their first for next season. Maybe we just give that back to them. It is obviously lottery protected. And then we could also give our own 2024 first-round pick, then our 2026. Those are picks I'm assuming that Zach Lowe was talking about, but he didn't really get too specific in the draft capital. But this was the trade idea he cooked up there. It was LaVine, P-Dub, and 3 firsts for Dame, and he's a heck of a player, man. I mean, over this past 4 seasons for Dame, he's an absolute flamethrower offensively, and we've been knowing this. Like, it is so hard in the modern-day NBA to consistently score 30 points a game every single season on great efficiency as well. Like, his usage rate is through the roof. And obviously when you have a high usage rate and a high volume, you expect the efficiency to go down. But he is a sniper from deep. I mean, 40% in 2019, 39 in 2020. Obviously that 2021-2022 season when he was dealing with an abdominal injury, he wasn't the same player, but he bounced back this past year in 58 games. Highest scoring output of his career with 32.2 points per game, 7.3 assists, and again, really, really solid efficiency. But when the lights are the brightest, that's when Dame plays his best. And his playoff stats really preach that. I mean, 25 a game, obviously not up there with that 30 a game, but still, scoring 25.7 points per game in the playoffs is tough to do. We know the game slows down. Defenses are able to obviously scout a lot more and just do a better job of executing on the defensive side of the floor. But it's that efficiency. I mean, the fact in 61 games, he shot 45% from deep in the playoffs really mind-boggles me. I mean, that is one of the more impressive stats from Damian Lillard. He's a big-time player, and he's just a playoff performer. We've seen it during his time in Portland. But from the Portland perspective of this trade, this makes a ton of sense for them. We'll dive into the Bulls' perspective here in a little bit. But for Portland, why would you not do this trade? I think the Bulls are giving up way too much in this because the Trailblazers, there was a report that came out that they're not the biggest fans of Tyler Hero. Obviously, there's a lot of Trailblazers Heat trade rumors going on right now, and they want a true star. Well, they're getting that true star in Zach LaVine. Then you're also pairing them or giving them 6'7" wing Patrick Williams, who is a really high upside prospect for the Chicago Bulls. And I think it would fit in great. But you're telling me Portland, where they could run out, Scoot, Anthony Simons, LaVine, P-Dub, and maybe they do keep Nurkic. I mean, it'll be a great kind of rebuild and retool for them. So from the Portland side of things, I totally see why Zach Lowe threw this out. I think if the Bulls sent this trade offer to Portland right now, I think they say, yep, we're doing it. Sorry, Dame, you're going to Chicago and not Miami, because they would get a star player, young player who can develop into a true 6'7" wing in the modern day NBA, true 3-and-D guy. They're also giving them 3 first-round picks. So they're getting a young player, draft capital, and a star. This makes a ton of sense for Portland, but I'll dive into the Bulls side of things here in a second. But I'll ask you guys this. As it stands right now, get down in the comments. Would you trade for Damian Lillard? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment. Would you trade for Damian Lillard? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. My whole take with Dame, and I've been kind of saying this throughout the NBA offseason, is he's a hell of a talent. I mean, being able to step across half court, pull up from 45, I mean, it spreads the defense out completely. I mean, he is truly, him and Steph Curry are one of those players where immediately he crosses half court, you have to have a hand in his face because he shoots at such a high clip from deep. I mean, he has the highest three-point percentage in NBA history from 35 feet and deep, or 35 feet plus from downtown. But how much better does he truly make the Bulls? Like, that's the question with this whole thing. Because this would be the starting lineup if the Bulls were to bring in Damian Lillard in this trade package that Zach Lowe offered. Obviously, your backcourt, that would be sweet. One of the better offensive backcourts in the NBA, but the defensive side of the floor. I mean, Kobe White and Damian Lillard, that would most likely be the worst defensive backcourt in the NBA. Obviously, you would still keep DeMar, and then we brought in Torrey Craig. I slotted him in at the 4, a little small ball 4. I mean, he's got good size at 6'7" frame. And obviously, Nikola Vucevic rounding it out. But this starting 5, I honestly don't think it makes the Bulls that much better. Like, instead, if you put Zach LaVine maybe at the 1 and then put Patrick Williams at the 2 where the Bulls don't make this trade, I can make an argument that's a better basketball team. And then on top of that, you're giving up draft capital. So from the Bulls side of this, I don't really understand this trade. I completely get it from Portland's side of things, where I think Zach Lowe was mainly looking at when he suggested this trade. But then we also got to talk about the contract with Damian Lillard, because this is also a huge problem, man. I mean, he's 33 years old, or he's going to be turning 33 years old, and he's got a massive deal. And we've seen it throughout NBA history. These undersized guards, once they start turning to 35, 34 years old, around that mid-30 range, we really see them take a step back. But, I mean, look at these numbers. I mean, look at these kind of figures, and especially in the later half of that career. I mean, $58.5 million, and then it jumps up to $63.2 million in the final year of that contract, where he would be at 36, 37 years old. That's not something I want the Bulls to sign up for. And then we look at on the LaVine's contract side of things. I actually think he's on a favorable deal, considering the new CBA rolling out and the new TV deal that will increase the NBA total cap space. I mean, the fact that you're getting a stud like this for only $45 and $49 million a year, and LaVine is a true second option on a title contending team, I honestly think this deal pretty favorable, especially if you compare this to like Karl Anthony Towns, who's making $65, or Bradley Beal, who's going to be making $60 in the final year of his career. So LaVine, I think, is on a more favorable deal, and I think LaVine is still a hell of a talent. I mean, this past season, I think LaVine, for playing 77 games, obviously the winning side of things with Chicago Bulls wasn't there. They didn't make the playoffs, and that was a disappointment. But LaVine had a very solid season. 25 a game, again, very solid efficiency. He's always been a tremendous three-point shooter throughout his career. He's especially excels in catch and shoot three-point balls. But in 77 games, 25 a game, 5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and again, very solid efficiency. But I'll ask you guys, the way their contracts are set up and the way who do you guys think is the better player out of these two? If you think it's Zach LaVine, give me a ZL. If you think it's Damian Lillard, give me a DL in the comments section. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say, especially Bulls fans, because you guys are big fans of LaVine. So let me know down in the comments section. I would rather have LaVine. I know this may come to a shocker to a lot of people, but I would rather have LaVine on his deal than Dame on his. I think LaVine is a tremendous talent and one of the more underrated players in the NBA. Because we all know in the NBA, you make your name in the playoffs. Like, that's when the most people are watching. That's when all the lights are the brightest. That's when the most eyeballs are on you. And LaVine hasn't performed in playoffs just because mainly he hasn't been there. I mean, the Bulls haven't really put a good enough team around him to really show LaVine's talent in the NBA postseason. But overall, I do think, I'll make this point. This is my kind of take on this whole thing. Dame is obviously a better player, a better offensive talent, just a better overall basketball player. He's a better playmaker. But if you're considering the contract and the age, give me LaVine any day of the week. Like, I will stand by that point. I think Zach LaVine, he is a tremendous talent. I don't think the gap offensively is as extreme as most people would think. Because LaVine's numbers this past 4 seasons, while sharing the court with another high usage and high volume guy in a DeMar DeRozan, he's put up ridiculous numbers. Never has slipped under 24 a game, but it's that three-point efficiency why I love LaVine so much. Dating back to 2019, 38%. 2020, 41.9%. 2021, 39% again, and then this past season at 37.5%. But the advanced shooting numbers is why I love LaVine so much. Catch and shoot threes, the fact that's sitting at 41.6% is incredible. If you guys remember that one game when he had 11 threes in Charlotte, 6 of those were catch and shoot threes, and I think like 5 of them were from the corner. We obviously know his pull-up game. Coming off that pick and roll, he likes that little hop step into his pull-up jumper, and he shoots that in a very high clip as well. Then he's also fantastic at getting to the rim. I mean, shooting 62.7% at less than 10 feet for a 6'5" guard. Obviously, he's an uber athlete. I just think LaVine, I think he's becoming one of the more underrated assets in the league, and that's why I am a LaVine believer. I will stand in this camp that I am a fan of his game, and I think he will actually be able to contribute to winning, even though he hasn't already. I think Zach LaVine, in terms of totality of his game, he is an offensive mastermind. In terms of being a 3-level scorer, getting to the rim with his athletic ability, using his solid, 6'5", 6'6" frame to get a bump in the mid-range, and then also he's a great catch-and-shoot 3 guy, and he's also a great pull-up 3 guy in the league. I think that translates to the NBA postseason. I think his game will translate to the playoffs as well. I'm a Zach LaVine believer, and I'll ask you guys, what do you guys think his 2K rating would be? I'd probably put LaVine at maybe a 91, 90 overall, probably low 90s, maybe high 80s. But I'll ask you guys this. Give Zach LaVine a 2K rating down in the comments section. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Summer League Instant Reaction coming to you guys right after the Bulls Summer League game tonight. They are tipping off against the Toronto Raptors at 5:30. So video should be coming out around 2.5 hours after the game tips off. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay in the loop. We'll keep you covered with all Bulls news and rumors.